Hi everyone. I think we just mine is Manoj. I'm one of the co-founders of BridgeLabz, and today we promised you guys that we're going to get R Ashwin. We promised you that R Ashwin, our very own, love cricketer, is going to be live with us today. So just to tell you guys before he joins in, R Ashwin's been with BridgeLabz and a supporter of BridgeLabz for the last 1 year or so. Probably an open secret which is known to a lot of people is that Ashwin, before he got into international cricket uh, and played for India, he was actually an engineer by basic education, and he's also even worked in the IT industry. Okay, so that is something that really endeared him to how BridgeLabz is actually trying to solve problems for the engineers at large, and that's how he came on board. So right now, just going live, I'm just going to invite him over. Okay, and let's see Ashwin join in. Yep. So I think we should have Ashwin anytime now with us. And please be feel free to So the occasion that I want to tell you guys about is BridgeLabz celebrating its 6th year. And in that case, we want to make sure that we create the maximum impact out there, and that's the occasion where Ashwin's actually coming on to support BridgeLabz and the work that is being done by us to make sure that every engineer out there gets their dream job. And the most important thing is that we guarantee your dream job. So you should be able to get a lot of, Yep. Hi guys. Can you guys all hear me now? Yep. So Ashwin's going to be joining us live soon. And so thank you so much for joining us. As you know, Ashwin's, yep, just having some technical difficulty. Let's just wait for Ashwin to join. So as you know, R Ashwin, I was just telling you guys that R Ashwin is actually an engineer himself by basic education, and he's also worked in the IT industry before taking up, cricketing as a profession and then playing for India as well. So he understands very well the kind of pressures and the tough situation that engineers go through before trying to get their dream job. So BridgeLabz actually is completing their 6th year anniversary in this year, and therefore we wanted to make sure we create the maximum impact for all you engineers out there to make sure that you guys get the best so we get the best of. Yes. So yeah. So we're just waiting for Ashwin to come in. Okay. Just give us a couple of minutes. So let me just reiterate. This is the 6th year for BridgeLabz. We are in the space of ensuring that engineers get their dream tech jobs, and that 200% guaranteed. If you come to us, we, without any kind of bias with your year of pass out or your engineering stream, non-computer science engineers also, we are able to groom and make sure you get your dream tech jobs. Obviously you need to put in the hard work because you need to eventually be able to perform in your jobs, but that's something that we ensure that you are able to be ready to do, right? So the program is made in such a way that all of you guys are able to make the most and come into the job. Yeah. Okay, so we're just waiting for Ashwin to come live. Yep. just reiterating, I think Ashwin, has been with BridgeLabz for the last 1 year or so. He's been supporting what we've been doing, and he's been part of a lot of the classroom sessions that the engineers have been going through. He's also come into the convocation ceremony where actually students who pass out are going into the jobs. He's met all of them, so he's going to share some of his experiences on what really is happening. Yep. Okay, guys. So just in a few couple of minutes, I think we're just getting Ashwin to join now. I think some technical difficulties as usual, joining in from the locations that wherever he is, right? So give us a couple of minutes, and please do share whatever questions you have, okay? And we will make sure that Ashwin tries to answer all of the questions that you have, whether it's about BridgeLabz, the program, or Ashwin individually as the personality and the cricketer that he is. Please do ensure that you talk about this and let others know as well. Yep. Hi, guys. Yep. So I think we have Ashwin just now coming on board. Yes. Hi, Ashwin.
Hi. Hi, hi,
Hi,
hi.
hi, hi, hi. I think people have been patiently waiting to get you on and very, very excited to have you. Thank you so
It's
much
my
for
it's
finding
my
the time in your busy schedule. So, yep.
pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure,
So
sure.
all over to you, Ashwin. I think people have been, as you know, I think I was just telling people that you've been a cricketer. I mean, you've been an engineer yourself before getting into cricketing. So I think people would love to hear about that story as well. Please, all over to you.
No, look, I think being an engineer was, being an engineer coming from a South Indian family in Chennai, it was a no-brainer. And obviously, once I finished my high school, I didn't have much of an idea as to what I was getting into when I was got into engineering. And although obviously my passion being cricket, most of it going to most of my time was going to practicing and also playing cricket professionally. By the time I came to my final year engineering, I got a contract in the IPL with CSK. So it was kind of very difficult to manage time between engineering and cricket. But nevertheless, whatever I managed to achieve or whatever I managed to learn as a cricketer on the go is purely because of the hard yards that I put in during my engineering days. But all the time when I used to do my engineering classes or courses or study for examinations, I used to wonder how I'm going to apply all these things in life. If in case I didn't become a cricketer, how am I going to apply these things in life, and how am I going to become someone of repute, or I achieve something I'm an engineer from IT background, and I used to wonder whenever I used to program. Programming is something that didn't come naturally, and I've always felt people who are very good at programming had that skill inside them. It's like speaking a language, right? It's like speaking Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, English, or whatever it is. You need to be able to speak the language that the computer can understand, and be eventually, the software can understand, and eventually be able to create. It's basically creating magic, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And for me, I always used to wonder. Look, you can't fault professors or whoever it is. They used to the limited amount of time they get to complete the syllabus, and then you need to get onto the examination. So there's a lot of work pressure for them as well going through teaching engineers. But for me, I used to wonder how I can scale this gap, how I can bridge this gap, basically for which BridgeLabz is doing the job today. And
Okay.
like, if you're an engineer, it doesn't mean you're employable. Many people tend to mistake that once the degree is in your hand, you tend to get a job on your hand, which is true. A lot of colleges do offer fantastic placements, 100% placements, and all that. But once you're placed, a lot of my friends also are working in the same field they studied to be in. Some of them are employed outside India. Some of them are employed inside in our country itself. So it is about making yourself employable, like just like playing the game. I see it as a direct correlation. Employability is being able to directly skill yourself in accordance with what the organization might need. So I feel that gap between curriculum and academics and getting yourself placed and be of absolute value to the organization that employs you is critical. And that is an area I feel BridgeLabz is going to definitely make rapid strides. And like colleges, BridgeLabz, you guys are also offering 100% placement once somebody is scaling themselves up with you guys. So it's wonderful. And it's an area that's always required attention. And I'm glad that people like BridgeLabz have come forward.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. So again, Ashwin, I was just telling people before you joined that this is actually a very momentous occasion for us because we just, in our 6th year as we speak. So, and that's one of the reasons why we are actually getting you live here talking to people. So what's your thoughts about that?
Look, I think if you spoke about bridging the gap between curriculum and getting yourself employed 6 years ago, I think that would have been quite a fancy idea at that time. So my congratulations and best wishes to the founders of BridgeLabz. Mr. Narayan, I'm sure would be receiving this message as well. It's a fantastic initiative that he started then. He must have had the conviction and belief to say, okay, look, I think we need to work on this area. Look, it is not only the people who are seeking to have a job that are going to benefit from this. It's even the companies that are recruiting these guys that are going to benefit massively by what BridgeLabz have managed to achieve over the last 6 years. There are several people who have caught on to this whole bridging that gap sort of a theory, but to be able to do it over a period, make a head start 6 years ago was something that I feel was a novel idea, and to keep at it and keep going is a fantastic position to be in for the company. So all the very best for you guys, and I'm sure this is not going to be a 6-year affair. I think it's going to be we will be here talking about it during the Silver Jubilee event as well. So I've got the belief now that I know inside out about what the organization does. It's not only about being a face or endorsing someone just because of what comes with it. It's also about understanding what the organization innately stands for, organically, to be able to understand and to be able to make a difference to the community is something that BridgeLabz is doing, and I really wish that this keeps growing multifolds. Many people end up getting wonderful jobs at a great pay scale, at a great upgrade, and I hope the recruiting industry also utilizes this opportunity very well.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. And I was again reminiscing about how in the last 1 year that you've been supporting BridgeLabz, you've been through the entire journey with every with the engineers. You've been throughout them, right? You were part of the invitation to be part of the orientations. You were in the orientation. You were actually in the classroom when some of the students were actually going through their learning their skills and sharpening them. And you were also recently part of a convocation ceremony where the students were actually who've gotten jobs and were really going and getting their dream jobs and careers. What's that experience been like for you? And just share a few of your thoughts.
For starters, I wasn't present for the orientation in college myself. I had a game, so I didn't go for the orientation. Neither did I go for the farewell of my batch that passed out of college. But look, I think it's a fantastic achievement for BridgeLabz per se to be able to get their first batch of students, place them, and also eventually see the see the tree bearing fruit. Right? You also see them getting employed and being happy on the other end of it. When I attended these classes, one thing that was strikingly different to what I've experienced or what I've seen when I was in college or when I was studying is the fact that number of people that have taken a break, right? The amount of people that have taken a break from work due to several reasons. They could be on a sabbatical. One of those cases was a mother, right? She took a break because she was going to be a mother, and then after 2 years she came. She equipped herself, she upscaled, and then she's ended up with a wonderful job. It's a dream job for her, in fact. On hearing such cases, it was fantastic. And there was a case, I think, if I'm not wrong, in the interiors of Maharashtra, I think, a sister heard about BridgeLabz. She enabled her sister to upscale herself through BridgeLabz. And in fact, for the economic background, socioeconomic background that they came from, to be able to make that step up and understand that even though it is a short-term pay cut that they are taking, she relinquished her current job. She took up the job and she took up the courses at BridgeLabz, upscaled herself, came back, and is now benefiting. So these are very heartwarming stories as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes when you're in the whole ring, when you're living a day-to-day life, you're wanting to sustain on a day-to-day note, it's very difficult to step back and say, okay, boss, I need to take a back step here. I need to put a pause on what's happening, and to take a temporary pay cut, and to be able to upskill yourself without any, rather you're investing on your upscaling. So when you're investing on your upscaling, the belief to say, okay, I will reap rewards at it, but not now, but in a while, is something that's not very easy to do. And I found that very amazing. It's only 1 to 2% of the entire population or people in the world that end up doing it. But those sort of stories really made my day when I was there for the orientation.
Thank you so much. And I think as we are celebrating our 6th year, I think a point to make here is that close to 3,000 plus engineers who've gone through the program have got into their dream jobs per se. And this year itself, we are planning to make sure that more than 6,000 engineers get into these dream jobs. So what we've been able to do in the last 6 years, we're going to almost do double of that by this year itself. So with your support and all the engineers, if they really want to take up this opportunity, I think we should be able to make this really happen for them. And a lot of, like you mentioned about these people wanting to upstep and get out of their socioeconomic strata and probably come out of that. BridgeLabz knows that there are a lot of engineers who struggle with these kind of things, and after 4 years of engineering, trying to make another scholarship or another fee to be able to say even do a certification to hopefully get a job. So we have come up with CSR initiatives. We're tying up with a lot of organizations where we ensure that we give the students who really need them 100% scholarship, right? So we're making sure that wherever they can, they can actually make that happen, right? So that brings us to this year, for example, because it's our 6th year anniversary as well, we are talking about this whole campaign they've been running recently called the Zyada campaign, the extra, right? So there are a lot of organizations out there, as you know, that when learning for getting a job is not really something new in India, right? Everybody believes that if you are able to get a certificate, probably you should be able to get a job, right? But you're left to your own self to search for that job after getting the certificate. BridgeLabz makes sure that we give you that job. You don't even probably have to get into an interview. So this campaign, the Zyada extra campaign, is all about getting the extra salary, getting the extra guarantee, making sure that you actually have extra career growth, all of that. Okay, your thoughts about some of these things?
Look, this Zyada is actually something that struck to me. I mean, it can be so many reasons, so many ways in which you can provide that extra for people. But I felt again when I was there in the classes and at the program, I realized how many scholarships have been dealt out. Even though it is a relatively young startup, there is a conscious effort to say, okay, we need to be able to serve the community. I say this because late in the 90s and early 2K, you can say the 2K revolution, when the whole engineering boom happened, everybody was getting into the software line, and there were more and more engineering colleges that were opening up all around the country, and suddenly you saw there is supply. Instead of there being a supply and demand issue, there was more of a supply and lesser of a demand. That's exactly how the market has turned around over the last couple of decades. And you find that, like you rightly said, the certification is something that comes. It is a sort of a thought process, right? When you have the certification, it's like basically having the visa to go to a country. You just doors open at several offices, several corporates. They just open doors for you. But these people come from these engineers come from very, very humble backgrounds. Sometimes I've studied with many of them, and the ability to upscale and invest on their upskilling is not that easy. for such people to be able to, for them, the highest point would be to get a job in a corporate and probably even sit on the bench. They'll be sitting in a bench and they'll probably be able be providing for their family back home who are struggling quite a bit. So I've heard such stories, seen such stories, have friends who have such stories. But them having the channel to be able to upskill and take their career and their family to the next strata is not something that will come to the forefront of their mind because of where they stand in their life. And that's why I feel this Zyada approach by BridgeLabz, which is 360 degrees, also trying to provide scholarships for such people and in turn turn their careers around and turn their lives around, is something that I found very touching. And I found it to be very forthcoming and very futuristic thinking for a startup. I would say it was fantastic.
Thank you so much. And I think one thing, if you remember when you were part of these classrooms as well, the Zyada bit also is about how these guys are learning in an experiential way, which is over and above probably what they would have ever done in their lives, right? I mean, so we rarely get, we never really, when I was in engineering, for example, I'm an engineer myself, I never really did anything myself, it was just whatever was put on the screen, or, you could go through videos or books or whatever. So I think that sort of adds to it. We could move to the next section, Ashwin. So, I mean, there are some questions that, a lot of our followers have been wanting to ask you. So one question from Aditi is about, how will BridgeLabz help me find my dream job?
Look, I think the story is right there in front of you, actually, because Aditi, I think finding your dream job depends entirely on what you want to do and where you want to be, right? And for what you want to do, I'm sure BridgeLabz has got you covered in terms of. Obviously, I can only relate to a cricketing parlance here. Like I want to be achieving a goal in life, a certain number of wickets, a certain number of runs, a certain number of result or something. I need to be able to structure the system today. The moment I have a goal, it doesn't mean that the goal will be there. I need to be able to have a process to get there. And BridgeLabz is providing you the process to be able to get there. For example, you could, if you want to land up in a dream job, there are certain requirements that you'll need to be able to accomplish in order to get to that dream job, right? So that requirements is something BridgeLabz are opening up for you. The requirements will be fulfilled. And like he said just now, the ability to learn in a very experiential manner. The first thing that's obviously we are in COVID times, and I couldn't really be there directly and be present there to be able to do it. But a lot of it was virtual. The experiential teaching is something that is not a part of our extensive curriculum. And so to say, parents of children these days are looking for experiential teaching systems which will enable their children to learn better. And that's exactly what BridgeLabz is providing. My direct comparison would always take me back to Three Idiots, right? The conversation between Boman Irani and Amir Khan through that experience of him studying there. And it stuck with me forever. And it's not only for education, it is for anything in life. And whenever I look at BridgeLabz, I get that feeling of, Three Idiots going there. Let's learn it experientially, let it sustain. Result ke piche mat bhago, excellence ke piche bhago. All those things are, it stuck with me. It's not only for education, but every part of your life. So Aditi, I think BridgeLabz has opened doors in terms of providing you the necessary tools to be able to land in your dream job. And obviously, they are definitely giving you 100% job guarantee at the end of it. So which makes it even more fantastic.
I couldn't have said it better, Ashwin. So yeah, I think, and one more question from Shivani is, like I said, a lot of people they see are giving, saying similar things or whatever. So how is BridgeLabz different from its competitors according to you?
See, look, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but BridgeLabz, please pardon me for saying this. Look, I think one of the greatest offerings somebody can give you is a job guarantee, right? And even colleges do that. Even universities do that. They say there is 100% placement guarantee, and hence they open up for recruitments, right? But this job guarantee is only an extensive connect to what you've learned and how you've upskilled yourself over a period of time to be able to land there. So that is a sustained amount of success. So if you can give yourself the chance to be ready to be eligible for that success, I don't see a reason why you will not land up being successful. And these are two aspects of the game. There is one end of the spectrum and this is the other. If this is your job, and if this is your degree, this gap is what exactly BridgeLabz is matching. And if that gap is matched, and if it's bridged, obviously you will land up in your dream job, if I may say so, from the previous question. So this aspect is often ignored, and people who are looking at this aspect will always have my respect, because I believe in setting systems up and process up in life, because result is not in your hand. It's not a guarantee, but if you can set up your process and systems, definitely one day the door will open. And you never know, like there is this I've read it in a book, right? And so I'm saying this, it is from a book called Atomic Habits. So where the author beautifully correlates a relation. If there is an ice cube in front of you, the ice cube starts, I'm sure a lot of people might have read the book as well. The ice cube starts melting, let's say at 32 degrees. But you can't ignore the fact that it's gone through from 25 to 31. And then it started melting at 32. So sometimes the work that we put in might not necessarily have instant results, but they're definitely contributing to the result later on. And we must have that belief to be able to set up the systems in order to be able to attain success later.
Beautifully said, Ashwin. I think a lot of inspiration for all the kids out there. I think you need to put in the effort and stay at it. Sometimes we feel that it's not going anywhere, but eventually you are able to see the light at the tunnel, and keeping at it is probably the most important. Thank you so much. I think this also answers the next question that we had is the BridgeLabz program going to be helpful in the IT industry? So I think you've answered it already. Yes, it's going to be helpful. I think, all the ways that we help you guys get those areas, I think, so that's there. Raj has a question, which I think a lot of kids might be having, is that, is my passing percentage or whatever, is that a hindrance of getting into the IT industry?
Look, honestly, I don't think passing percentage should be an issue to get into any work-related issue and work-related segment. I've always felt people take time to bloom. Just that you need to find the right person, the right time for you to bloom. As long as you're ready to open up and absorb information that's coming your way all the time, there is these marks are just instantaneous. I think somewhere down the line we've got these GDP scores in colleges now. When I used to study, it used to be percentages and all that. So I think these are aspects of the game, if I may say so, aspects of the game that had importance, and will continue to have importance. But eventually, I think it is your ability. If tomorrow, so there was this friend of mine in class, right? And like I told you, my difficulties with coding and all that. He used to design programs instantly. Like he used to run a program to create a snake game, create games like in a fraction of a second. And that didn't happen because he studied and he's gotten all the codes in his head and he's able to repeat it. It's because he knows how to do it and he enjoys how to do it. So I would say these percentages and marks are just a sort of a report card. I don't think it has any connection with where you end up in your life or what job you're doing or how much you grow in your job. Growth is a day-to-day process and it has no connection with what grades you're getting.
Absolutely. So I think, and in the past, over the 6 years, we've made sure that if you've had breaks in your, in your education, whether you've got low grades, it doesn't really matter. We've seen that, when you apply yourself, we are able to make sure that we give you that 100% job guarantee no matter what. So, I think students should make this a point that if you come to us, it doesn't matter whether you actually have had low grades in the past. If you apply yourself, I think you should be able to get that job. And you may be able to step up into a career where even maybe your peers who probably did well in college, might be behind you. So I think that's really possible.
It's happened constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Tushar has a question about, and I think we've been talking about this. Just to reiterate, I think, does the BridgeLabz fellowship program offer a job guarantee? I think we've talked about it enough. I think, yes, that is definitely on. It's for almost everybody. So we give it in writing. And everybody who comes on board is given a piece of paper where clearly it's mentioned that you will be given 100% job guarantee. So please make sure that you, make the most of it. Yeah. Yeah, Shivani has a very good question. I think Ashwin, and I think you'll like to answer this, is how do I keep myself motivated in the learning process?
It's like I said, the example of just now I said about the ice cube melting at 32 degrees. I think the learning process can be very different for different people. There is nobody in life that has achieved overnight success. Because when people are watching it, right, like when somebody is successful, when they're watching the success unfold in front of them, the first thing that comes to their head is, oh, that's success. That's instantaneous. We can only see the moment of success of somebody else, but we can never really understand the kind of efforts that they've been able to put in over the years to be able to achieve that success today. So for everybody that's seeing you, success is overnight. But trust me on this, the process of learning, failing, repeating it, learning, failing, repeating it is far greater and far more frustrating than actually achieving the success itself. And that's why for some people, when they achieve success in whatever environments I've seen, or even having gone through that, sometimes success is just something that happens and you don't even celebrate or sort of enjoy it or relish it as much as you ideally should be, because the process of repeatedly learning and failing is there in your head that you don't understand what you've achieved on a particular day. That's why success seems larger from the outside than it is actually from the inside. So I would say learning and failing is the first thing that every human being should embrace, because learning is something that comes with a lot of failures, right? Because you learn something, you have to apply it in life, and when you fail, you can start losing your motivation. But the most important thing is to be able to understand that you've learned, applied it, and failed. So at least there is an opportunity for you to learn something else and try to succeed. So there are so many roads through which you can get to a destination. Some road can take you in 1 hour. Some road can take you in half an hour. Some road can take you in 2 hours. But that doesn't mean the road that takes you to the destination in 2 hours is the bad road. It could probably be the most rewarding road that you have taken. There could be so many experiences on that road that will enrich you forever, enrich you for life. So I would say it's very, very important that you keep learning, keep applying the learning, apply the learnings that you've had, and never be shy to fail. If you fail, you learn and you move on, you take another road. So do not worry about it. I know it's frustrating, but that's just the way life is, and that's the greatest enriching experience one can have.
Yep. Ashwin, one question, or rather more request from one of your followers. So Vivek wants you to say a few words in Tamil for your Tamil fans.
என்ன தமிழ்ல சொல்றது? Should I say about BridgeLabz in Tamil, and what should I say? விவேக் நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா? விவேக் நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா? சும்மா ஜாலியா நீங்க அப்படியே வந்து பேசிட்டு இருக்கேன் ஒரு ஜாப் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பத்தி, இன்ஜினியர்ஸோட கஷ்டங்கள், அவங்களுக்கான ஜாப் ரிக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ், அதை பத்தி, அதோட தேவைகளை பத்தி பேசிட்டு இருக்கேன். உங்களுக்கு இன்ஜினியரிங் பத்தியோ இல்ல இன்ஜினியர்ஸ்க்கு வேலை கிடைக்கிறத பத்தியோ தான் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா கேளுங்க ஃபர்தரா. விவேக் டெஃபினட்டா சொல்றேன்.
Nice. Thank you. Puneet has a question, and I think his thing is about, I think has a gap in his career. So he wanted to say, can I restart my career after a 4-year work gap?
And absolutely. I'm the comments are quite disturbing actually to see anyway. So okay, so for me, the most important aspect and the most beautiful thing that I saw in the orientation programs and also the programs that were running was the fact that people have taken breaks and have managed to come back. And a lot of people take breaks and want to start working again, but so many people believe that I've worked in the past 2-3 years ago and I've done a fantastic job of doing it. Now I've taken a break, but I need to be able to know what sort of upskilling I would need to get there as a better person or a better individual or better employable at this point of time. And there are so many examples of people who have taken up the course and have landed up in a much more rewarding job than what they had before they'd taken a break. Sometimes taking a break could be the best thing that can happen in your life. Sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise. So I feel taking a break has nothing to do with your employability. You can definitely upskill yourself and showcase yourself. In today's world, I don't think it's much of an issue. In the past, people will ask you why you've taken a break. it can affect your pay packages and all that. I don't think it is an issue now if you can upscale yourself before you get back.
Same here, Ashwin. I think we've been able to help kids who come to us with a break. As long as they apply themselves and put in the hard work, I think a break really doesn't stop them. I think we've been able to get, and organizations who work with us actually need engineers who apply themselves, and they're not really worried about their career breaks or their education breaks. I think it really works well. Yeah. One question from Dev Saini. She asked, Ashwin, who's your inspiration?
I think inspirational people always come and go. There have been several inspirations in my life, and it's not like somebody needs to accomplish something to be an inspiration. It could also well be a conversation somebody has had with you at the right time. So for me, several people have inspired me. The reason why cricket was such a burning desire inside me was because of the man Sachin Tendulkar, right? And he was an emotion, and he was someone that. And that time of watching cricket with Sachin being the centerpiece of Indian cricket will never come back. And that is a massive amount of inspiration for me. I think Anil Kumble has been a big inspiration in terms of how he's managed to, how he's managed to overcome challenges time in and time out. So there are several people who inspire me. Look, I read a lot of books as well. Several authors have inspired me. So on a day-to-day basis, it's about trying to learn new things and keeping yourself as open as you can to try and absorb information, absorb new things. And so inspiration is something. To get inspired, you just need a spark. So be open to being inspired, be open to listening to people, and be open to learning. So you will get inspired on a day-to-day basis.
Wow. That's going to be my mantra from now on, Ashwin. I think be open to inspiration. I think, thank you so much. And there's a question from Mahi, and I think probably I can answer that as well. Her question is, is BridgeLabz there in Pune? Can I join there? Okay, so Mahi, BridgeLabz actually is based out of Bombay right now. During COVID, we had to, sort of relocate. So we are based out of Bombay. But today, because of our online program, wherever you are, whether you're in Pune or you're in Kashmir, it doesn't matter. We will come to you at your home. You don't need to get out of your home. So we just sign up from the website, and you can, get the counselor to speak to you. We will be able to ensure that wherever you are in India, we will come to you and make sure that you get your 100% guaranteed dream job. Yeah. So don't worry about that. Again, more about you, Ashwin. I think Mukesh wants to, Rajesh wants to ask, what are the ideologies that guide your life?
Ideologies that guide my life. So look, I think every day needs to be new, right? Every day will pose different challenges. Every day needs to, you need to have motivation to get up and work on something. And so I've constantly, over the years that I've played cricket, I've constantly tried to, gone every day for practice with an intention to be able to do something new, work on something that I'm not doing very well. I've been one of my strongest critics is no one else but me. So I cannot lie to myself. So when I know that something is wrong, I definitely know it firsthand myself, and I try and work on it. So basically, for me to work on something every day and find motivation to be able to do that is something that drives me. So ideology in life is to be able to work on things, try and apply it. Even if you fail, it's important that you try and work on it and try and come out on the other side. So for me, the most important thing is to try new things every single day, because yesterday is not the same as tomorrow. So it's very important to stay in the moment and try and be better than what you were yesterday.
Awesome. I think we're in the last segment. I think we just got a couple of more questions. A lot of the questions that are coming are, repetitive in nature. So I'm not really asking all of them, but a lot of the people, Aditi, Shivani, Mukesh, Raj, Gauri, Vijay, Mahi, Dev Saini. There's also a page called, Coder Macha actually, which is, following us, and they actually give out very interesting bits about, keeping motivated. Like you keep saying, every day is a progress, and every day you need to do something more to move towards your goal. So they keep giving interesting tidbits about, how to really keep at, improving your entire coding process, right? So, and they make really coding fun. So I think if some of you guys want to check that out as well. Yeah. I think that's basically it. Any challenges, Ashwin, Gauri is asking this question. Any challenges that you faced in your career and, that you think, can be overcome? How have you overcome them?
See, challenges are going to be there in every walk of your life, and if you're running away from challenges, it's going to be even more harder, right? So the harder you try to run away from challenges, the more difficult it gets. So I think, see, look, it's very easy. It's very easy for people who come out of the other end of the challenges to say that this is what you need to do, because challenges are to a varying degree for everybody. Everybody is. For a lot of people, running day-to-day household chores could be a challenge, right? So those are a completely different set of challenge. But to be able to have a goal for the future, divide the goals into near future, then small, like they say in investment, right? Small term, medium term, and long term. You should be able to have goals set accordingly, and to also have processes that accordingly help you to overcome those challenges and to be able to achieve those goals. So as long as you're having a goal and having a system in place to achieve those goals, I think challenges will automatically subside and set itself on path, because challenges are challenges. Challenges are those things that arise in order to curb you or stop you from achieving what you want to achieve in life. So as long as you're clear in what you want to get, and you're able to devise a mechanism or a process to be able to achieve those goals, then challenges are something that will skip your head, and it will leave your vision. It will probably go into the periphery. So I think challenge. I mean, as a cricketer or as a bowler in India for so many years, the challenges have always kept coming. It's not like you have even a month, or maybe a month is too short. It's not like you even have a year where you don't have a challenge. Every once in 2 months, you will have something and you'll have to overcome it. And as long as you are ready to work hard for it, and also ready to have goals and have processes in place to be able to achieve it, you'll be fine.
Ashwin, one last question. I think it's in Tamil, but I hope I'm getting it right. I think this one, Vivek Anandan, he says, Anna, and if I'm just translating it as I understand it, for people who don't know BridgeLabz, is it safe to recommend the organization?
So should I answer it in Tamil?
Up to you. Yeah.
நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுங்க, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து யார் சொல்றாங்க என்ன ஏது அப்படிலாம் பாக்குறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க அவங்களுக்கு கால் பண்ணுங்க, BridgeLabzக்கு கால் பண்ணுங்க. கால் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்களே பேசுங்க அவங்க கவுன்சிலரோட. இதுல எதுவுமே வந்து யாரு சொல்றாங்க, எதுக்கு சொல்றாங்க, அப்படி என்ன சொல்றாங்க, ஒருவேளை யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு யார் சொன்னாலும் நீங்களே பார்த்து தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறது தான் பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ். ஸோ நீங்களே கால் பண்ணுங்க, அவங்க கவுன்சிலரோட பேசுங்க, செட்டப் பண்ணுங்க, கால்ஸை ஃபுல்லா அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கங்க. அதுக்கப்புறமா ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க உங்களோட பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை. இல்ல யாருக்கா ஒருத்தர் ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணணும்னு நினைச்சீங்கனாலும் அவங்களுக்கு ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, அவங்கள ஃபோன் பண்ணி இதே ரூட் எடுக்க சொல்லுங்க. ஸோ இதுதான் வந்து யாரா இருந்தாலுமே பண்ணணும், எதுவா இருந்தாலுமே பண்ணணும் நான் லைஃப்ல பிலீவ் பண்றேன். பட் டெஃபினட்டா அவங்களோட அந்த ஆஸ்பெக்ட் ஆஃப் பிரிட்ஜிங் தட் ஸ்கில்ஸ், அதாவது அவங்க வந்து வேலைக்கும் படிப்புக்கும் நடுவுல இருக்கிற அந்த ஒரு பிரிட்ஜா, அந்த பாலமா அமையறாங்க. அவங்க அந்த பாலமா அமையறது தான் வந்து எனக்கு அவங்க கிட்ட பிடிச்ச ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச ஒரு விஷயம். இன்னைக்கு வந்து எல்லாமே ஆன்லைன் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ நீங்க ஃபோன் பண்ணி பேசுங்க. ஸோ எந்த மூலையில இருந்தா கூட அவங்களால ஹெல்ப் பண்ண முடியுங்கிற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கும் இருக்கு, அவங்களுக்கும் இருக்கு.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. I think we've had some fantastic half an hour, really good, head-to-head conversation with you. A lot of questions answered. We got to know a lot more about you, as well as thank you so much for supporting BridgeLabz through and through. Any final words, on the live for all your fans out there, and then we can call it a day.
Yeah, anything. Challenges are a part and parcel of life. Stop looking at challenges. Start setting your goals and try and devise your own processes and plans to be able to achieving your goals. And finally, stay happy and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. I think as we go forward, I think we probably will invite you to a lot more such events where you can share your thoughts, and on momentous occasions like when BridgeLabz crosses milestones, we'll always remember you. Thanks for all the support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Best of luck. Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If there are any more questions, please don't forget, follow us. And, there is a link in bio where you can actually reach out to us, speak to the counselors, get more information about what the programs are, what you need to do, how you can get into your dream tech job, and with 100% job guarantee. We will be coming to you more in this year because we want to make sure this year you guys get the best of it. We are there to make sure you get it. Okay, so great year ahead for you. Please make the most of it. Let as many people know about BridgeLabz, because that's the way, positivity spreads. Thank you so much for being live with us today, and obviously, God bless and have a great year ahead. Best of luck.